first month anniversary on TikTok since I've been a dietitian. You know I do it. RD here. You saw that? I know. Thank you for paying for my registered dietitian school. You and Daddy have been really so helpful. I know my TikTok page is growing. I talk about protein. Yeah, I know, Mommy. Mom. I know protein's like the most important thing ever. It's why I became a dietitian. Yeah. Okay, I have to go to work. I think I'm going live on TikTok right now. Okay, bye. Love you. Okay, so as I was saying before, this has protein in it, and this is meat, and it has protein in it. RD here, I have to say that, RD here. Yeah, because it's really important. When I graduated from registered dietitian school, they gave us all this for our class. And they said that you have to learn how to identify when someone's protein deficient or they're not protein deficient. And you can do that by looking at this scientific measuring tool that they gave us at dietitian school. And my God, like, I think my dietitian stuff is really paying off on TikTok. And okay, calm down. Okay, so this is a measuring tool to show how much protein one is getting. And in dietitian school, we're taught that it all depends, like your facial structure and everything determines how much protein you actually receive and how much B12. I can't believe how much I learned about B12 in registered dietitian school. They said that only the meat eaters can have B12 and get B12. B12? Okay, this is really important that I want everybody to know on my TikTok page. I can't wait to make small videos out of this on my TikTok page. Oh my God, like cheese. I want you to know that it's so important. It's a staple that every girl should be on. Yes. How old am I? I just saw a comment. I'm 24 years old. And yes, I just graduated from registered dietitian school. I want to go into how cheese is so important. And I have 4 ounces of cheese per day. And in the dietitian handbook guide, where is it? I've been doing this now for, I guess, a couple of months. I just I think I have my handbook guide right here that they gave us at the dietitian school. RD here, I know, right? And they say that cheese is fundamentally one of the most important things that you can actually get in you. Exactly. A whole bunch of us graduated and we're killing it on TikTok now. So cheese is probably one of the better things. Sorry, I got a phone call coming in. Let me see. Hold on. Hi. Yeah. Now, I know I'm in a live. I know. Todd, I know. Thank you for being so supportive, okay? I'll see you later. Okay, that's just my boyfriend. Just don't worry. His family had celiac. And they're all like celiac people. His whole family, his mother has celiac, his dad has celiac, and he says he has celiac. And I told him that you have to get as many eggs in you as possible and as much cheese. And he's on an 100% egg diet, an egg white diet right now. And so I've been really helping my boyfriend and his family with their celiac. Now, what I really like is chicken. I eat chicken 3 times a day. Every day for the protein. Chicken's the most important. And I just want to say one more thing that's really, really important is that I don't want anyone to think that they can't indulge, because I noticed that there's eating disorders out there being started by people who have they think they run the gamut in social media, and they actually tell people to stay away from so many things. But you have to treat yourself because it's called moderation and balance. And so what I recommend is some chocolate cake once in a while, or you have an eating disorder And so I'm just telling you, I learned a lot from my dietitian school, and I have a lot of experience too. Because you know what I put in my resume now? That I've been doing this since I was like 11 years old. I was telling my mom what she should eat or not eat. I have so much experience. And what I did was on my website now, on my TikTok handle, I talk about how I've been doing this for like 10 years. Even though I'm 24 years old, I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm so accomplished. And I went to school, dietitian school. I just want to show you what happens with this tool here. This is a tool that when you graduate, they give every single RD there this very tool. It determines how much protein, how many carbs. If you have too many carbs, it changes the structure of your face. If you have not enough protein, it changes the structure of your face and you can get really sick and protein deficient. I think that's it for this episode of Samantha's RD channel on TikTok. There's so many of us out there fighting for people and getting benefits to them. I think, anyway, thank you so much. I have to take a phone call now. I'm so busy. I'm a busy RD and I have to go. Anyway, we're talking about neurological symptoms today, you guys. We're going to cover tingles, numbness, aches, pains, different kind of neurosymptoms, even touch upon migraines, neurological migraines. We're going to touch upon a lot of the different tremors, shakes, tics, spasms, cranial nerves, which is really important too. You got cranial nerves that really affect everybody in so many ways. Trigeminal neuralgia, all kinds of different problems people are up against. And so I think it's really smart to touch upon neurological symptoms. I want to do a little Q&A stuff too. So I want to be open to that as well. And so I want to begin with is what happens is that practitioners and doctors, people in the health movement, never ever connected the dots between a symptom being neurological. If you're somebody that's experienced enough in the last 10 years, 15 years, maybe you've been sick 20 years in your life, and you've been sick with different neurological symptoms, you probably went through the whole Guessing Games channel, seeing a lot of different professionals and health professionals, a lot of different doctors. And as it's happening, none of them knew that your symptom was actually neurological. Not even, believe it or not, like panic attacks. Back then, 10 years ago or more, a panic attack was never considered to be neuro or neurological on any level. And this is important to know because now that the time is changing, things are changing now. And what's happening is people are realizing through medical medium books and medical medium information, because it was being put out there through these books about how neurological symptoms like give you all of these different things. Like we feel these different things from cranial symptoms, cranial nerves to vagus nerves to all kinds of different things. So I want to cover that right now. A little Q&A. How many people go through tightness of the chest and it's unexplainable? They have this tightness of the chest going on. Tightness of the throat, tightness of the chest. How many people have ever gone through that? They feel like they can't get a deep breath and they're having a problem getting a deep breath. Right? So that's actually vagus nerve related stuff if your doctor rules out everything that they are looking for. If they're looking for something and they rule it out and they're like, look, you got anxiety, let's put you on some benzos, let's send you home with a benzo, you can take an Ativan, a Xanax, whatever it is, and they send you home with that and they're like, do this for a while, see how your anxiety gets, see how your panic gets, see how your tightness of your chest is, and the whole bit, right? And they rule out pretty much everything else. They do blood work, they look at you, but they can't release. Everybody's saying yes right there. Exactly. That's what you have lately too. I'm seeing all that. So what is missed in the health world, it's a big deal, is vagus nerve issues. Now, you'll hear more about vagus nerve issues now a day, right? You'll hear more about it. But what people don't realize is, why do we get symptoms that are vagus nerve related? Why and how? How does it even happen? So what medical medium information brought into town years ago was that nerves swell. Nerves actually swell. They become inflamed. There's a reason why they become mysteriously inflamed. When you haven't had an accident or an actual physical injury or anything like that, there's a reason why nerves get mysteriously inflamed, and that's viruses. Viruses such as Epstein-Barr being one of the leaders. Everybody's got Epstein-Barr at this point in the world, spreading fast. But it's not just about everybody's got Epstein-Barr. Everybody's got Epstein-Barr. It ain't just about that. It's everybody's getting more than one variety of Epstein-Barr. And that's what's happening out there. So it's like, there isn't just one Epstein-Barr. That means if you have Epstein-Barr, you can't get Epstein-Barr again. That's not true. You can have one Epstein-Barr and get another Epstein-Barr and get another Epstein-Barr and get another and another and another, all different varieties. Some milder, some more annoying, some more aggressive, but you can get a lot of different varieties of these viruses. And these viruses release something I call a neurotoxin. It's when the virus eats something it really likes, like an egg, and then pees and poos waste out of the virus that floats around your body and is highly, highly allergenic to the vagus nerves. Right there. One of the most important things you can learn to empower yourself is vagus nerves swelling, getting inflamed, because there's something toxic, a neurotoxic compound that's saturating the nerve, that's touching the nerves, creating them to spasm, creating them to twist a little, creating them to swell and get more inflamed. And this leads to a lot of different symptoms and conditions people are suffering with. Okay? From intestinal tract pain, stomach problems, intestinal tract pain. Okay? That alone, because the vagus nerves are inflamed, to tremors, to spasms and tics, to tingles and numbness on the body. And not just the vagus nerves getting inflamed, but the phrenic nerves that run down each side of the chest here, the phrenic nerves can get inflamed and swell too, which give people a lot of different issues as well. Both the phrenic nerves and vagus nerves can inflame, creating tightness of the chest that's unexplainable by any physician or any doctor out there. Mystery symptoms that are plaguing people out there all the time. And so what is critical to know is that people walk around with lots of different bugs in them, different viruses. Now, the thing is here is that in the health movement years ago, you couldn't even hear a word, like nobody even knew. Virus, what do you mean? What does that even mean? No one talked about it. Didn't exist. In the natural health movement, it was just about eat better stuff, eat better books, eat better this. It was about how wheat was genetically altered, that wheat was hybridized, that wheat has changed in this world. That was pretty much all you can actually get back years, just more, a little over 10 years ago. It was just wheat's genetically altered, wheat's hybridized, wheat's causing our problems, gluten's causing our problems. No information on how gluten's causing our problems on any level. But that's what you would get. You would get eat better books to stay away from processed foods, to stay away from fried, greasy foods. And that's what was given to us pretty much all around. That's all you can do. It's like years ago you got sick. It was like, well, maybe it was that fast food diet doing it. Maybe it's this hybridized wheat I've been eating every day and this gluten. But that's pretty much as far as it went. And then you had millions of people on the planet suffering with all kinds of symptoms, conditions, including thyroid conditions. Many of you guys got thyroid problems, right? Doctors checking out your thyroid, your numbers don't look good. And they're like Hashimoto's, all of it. And then there's the mystery symptoms, the fatigue. So I want to go into that a little bit too. When someone has a viral load, and that viral load is feeding on what it wants, like say eggs and cheese and dairy. I'm just showing you a little bit here. And that viral load is getting high because a virus is feeding off of eggs and devouring the eggs and then releasing neurotoxins. Neurotoxins are flooding the entire body, and then the vagus nerves swell up. And now we're in fatigue, where we feel like we have sandbags for arms. We feel like we have sandbags for legs. We have a hard time getting out of bed. We have what medical meme information states as neurological fatigue. So I know that so many of you guys have dealt with neurological fatigue out there where it doesn't make sense. Why are you tired? Someone will be like, you're lazy. And back years ago, it was like, you're lazy. You're bored. You just want to be on the couch. You don't want to get out of bed. This is just who you are. And people took the hit every day in and day out for their neurological fatigue. But what's really happening is you got the viral infections. The viral infections are releasing all of these different neurotoxins, including some neurotoxins. The neurotoxins are landing on the nerves in the body. And when they land on the nerves, they swell and inflame the nerve. Very important to know. Because if you don't have answers, you're lost, you're in the dark, you're searching the web, you're checking through social, and you're trying this and trying that and doing this and doing that when the answers aren't even clear to why you're even struggling or suffering on any level. So I want to get into the brain a little bit, the brainstem. The vagus nerves come out of your brainstem. So do other nerves too, like trigeminal nerves. Many people, you guys might be dealing with this, is nerve problems in the neck, in the jaw, in the face. Facial nerves, right, around the temple, nerves around the eyes, nerves in the back of the neck, back of the head. So you're dealing with cranial nerves, facial nerves that are inflamed, trigeminal nerves that are inflamed, all from different viruses and viral infections. So I want to get into that a little deeper. We'll leave Epstein-Barr for the moment. We'll pop back into it. Let's head into the shingles virus. The shingles virus is growing fast out there. More and more people are getting different varieties of shingles. They're wreaking havoc. And one of the things the shingles virus does is create trigeminal neuralgia, facial nerve problems, and different symptoms people get, where your teeth hurt really bad. Your teeth hurt really bad. Your jaw hurts really bad. You're going to the dentist over and over again. You can't really get answers. They're drilling your teeth. They're doing root canals. Or maybe they're just pulling teeth because it gets so bad. You're on medications. You're struggling. You're on gabapentin because that's what they put everybody on when you have jaw pain, neck pain, and it's unexplainable and you're struggling so much. They throw you on gabapentin, right? So many people have been on that. And I'm not saying don't be on it or be on it and just do what your doctor, what's right by you and your doctor, of course, your doctor's guidance. But so many people are giving so many medications like gabapentin and benzos to try to help them with their neurological pain and their neurological symptoms. But yet the answers aren't there. The answers are not there. The well is dry. And we're not getting an answer. And so people have to understand something. Shingles can rash out, and shingles can also not rash out. You can have two just separate accounts of shingles. One can rash out, and they see pustules, and then you have the nerve pain. Another never shows its face, never peeks its ugly head. It just stays there on the nerves, and you're walking around looking to try to get Botox injections in your neck, in the side of your neck, right? And the nerves near your brainstem, nerves in your spine, the nerves in your neck, like you name it. And people have to go and they have to seek this and look for this Botox in their facial nerves because they're in that much agony and that much pain. And they're walking around, but what they don't get are answers to what's happening and how it's happening. So in the medical medium book, I don't know if you guys have the medical medium books on here. Many of you guys do, right? But that's Cleanse to Heal. This is Brain Saver, okay? They're on sale at Amazon right now. These books are incredible for giving people answers, turning people's lives around. It'd be one thing if I said that when it did not happen, but it did. There are hundreds of thousands of people going into the millions just on Brain Saver alone around the world getting answers. And Cleanse to Heal is one of the most famous books in health worldwide right now because of what it's done for people, bringing people's life and health back. And so I'm just showing you this so you know that there's actual protocols that you can look into to actually get some help with. So let's cut into this a little bit more. I want to talk about the shingles virus. Here's a question right here. Natty News right there on IG. No more gastric acid after celery juice. Explanation points. After 25 years every day. So amazing. When I think about that right now, you're going 25 years with acid attacks, gastric-wise. 25 years. You're doing celery juice now, and it's gone. Think about the power of that and how incredible that is right there. Fabalid says on IG, medical medium has healed my chronic constipation. Nothing makes me happier than to hear that, because chronic constipation is not a joke. It is brutal. It really, really can bog somebody down. It can really set them back. It can torture them in many ways. And I'm so happy to hear that. I can't tell you how that makes me feel. Let's see. Goodbye. Guinness says, thank you for this live, AW. You have made my day so much lighter with the laughter. Sending blessings your way. You liked our RD? That's our residential RD that we actually have now. We have an RD that actually, comes on here before I come on. So it's great. It's great. She's amazing. Mary just said, knowing this info has changed everything for me and all the tools we have. So thankful. So you guys, I want to cut a little bit more deeper into this. So a lot of people have the shingles virus wreaking havoc, creating inflammation in their trigeminal nerves and their facial nerves, causing untold amounts of pain and sorrow for people. They have to be on gabapentin, they have to be on benzos, they got to be on Xanax, they got to be on antidepressants. Doctors recommend a cocktail of like antidepressants plus gabapentin plus this plus that. I'm not saying take those. No, I'm not saying don't take those. I'm saying listen to your doctor, whatever your doctor does for you and whatever guidance you want by your doctor. I'm just saying the reality of the facts of what people are on and what they go through and how difficult it is. And that's not even the amount of people that are actually going and looking around for answers, and they're trying this. Like they'll go and try ionized water, like alkaline ionized water. That stuff just makes things worse because of the metal plates leach metal. I tell people, stay a million years. I would never touch an ionized water machine. And a million freaking years, I would never let that stuff poison me and poison my brain, leaching off those metal plates. At a million freaking years. Never. And so I'm saying that people are then searching for answers and they're looking for all these different things. They're trying that, they're trying this. Meanwhile, they're suffering, they're struggling. It's really hard and they don't have answers. So I want to go a little deeper now. There are people out there that are suffering from so many different low-grade viruses and viral infections that they're dealing with a combination of different varieties. And some varieties are the Epstein-Barr, some are the shingles, some are HHV6, some are simplex 1, some are simplex 2. And they're dealing with multiple problems and multiple viruses. They'll have an Epstein-Barr and a shingles. They'll have an Epstein-Barr and they'll have cytomegalovirus. They'll have that, plus they'll have something like strep. And that strep will work along with the Epstein-Barr virus. So they'll have a combination of a few different things, bacteria plus viruses. And then these things are what gives people all these different crazy neurological symptoms as they live their life. So they wake up in the morning and their problem's not gone. It's still there. And then the next day they wake up in the morning, they still have tics and spasms. They still have aches and pains. They still have fatigue. Because until you get the answers to why these nerves are inflamed and learn that these nerves are inflamed from these viral infections, can you actually address them and do something about it? And so it's important to know medical meme info isn't just about like taking away everybody's food. Far from it. It's about giving you options you never thought you could use or do. And then having those options to help heal the body. Everybody has a choice to make. They can eat the things they want. They have their own free will. But if they're really sick, it's good to know why it's okay to remove something. Let's take eggs for an example. Viruses love eggs. It's their favorite food out of everything. If someone was to say, AW, I'm gonna take all your food away from you, but I'm just gonna leave you a few options. I'm gonna leave you this roasted chicken. I'm gonna leave you this chocolate cake. I'm gonna leave you this cheese, and I'm gonna leave you these eggs. And they said, that's all you're gonna have. You're gonna starve to death unless you choose one of these. Unless you choose eggs, or cheese, or chicken, or chocolate cake. And weeks go by and I haven't eaten any of those. And I have to make a choice. And I know I have to make a choice. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to choose the egg. The last thing I would ever choose is the egg. And you'll see out there people saying eggs are so good for you. Eggs are important. Eggs are filled with protein. You should have all the eggs you want. You should never not eat eggs. The egg yolks are good. The egg whites are good. You should be on eggs. You'll hear that all day long out there, everywhere. But that's the last thing I would choose, because if there's ever a bacteria or a pathogen or anything in the body, the egg will feed it. If there's anything in there, the egg will feed it. And that's important to know. Cheese and dairy will feed viruses and pathogens. And that's another thing too that feeds viruses and pathogens. The chicken's not my favorite go-to because it's so high in fat. People don't realize that. It's not the highest in fat, but it's actually something that's not my go-to. Right? And chocolate cake's not my go-to because I don't want to destroy my adrenal glands. I want to protect my adrenal glands. I want to keep my adrenal glands happy. And I don't want my adrenal glands jacked up on all that caffeine. And then I don't want to be addicted either. So that wouldn't be my go-to either. But regardless, I wouldn't choose the eggs. So I want to go into some more symptoms, conditions. How many of you guys are dealing with tics, spasms, where you have them on your body all the time? You feel them in your arms. You feel them in your chest. You feel them in your eyes. You feel them around your eyes. You feel them on the sides of your face. Okay? So many people are dealing with a lot of the different tics and spasms. So tics and spasms can be a combination where you're dealing with low-grade viral infections, but you're also dealing with toxic heavy metals. And that's the next thing I want to go into a little bit. It's one thing to have viruses inside of us creating neurological symptoms through inflammation caused by neurotoxins being released from the viral infections. So viruses eating foods that it likes, such as eggs, and then releasing neurotoxins that get onto the nerves and inflame them. It's one thing to have that. It's another to also be high in toxic heavy metals without realizing it. And a blood test does not determine how high you are in toxic heavy metals, nor do a hair analysis or a urine analysis will not determine how high you are in toxic heavy metals. That is an important understanding if you want to heal, because you can be thrown off your game. You go and you get a test or a hair analysis for toxic heavy metals. Doesn't look like it's a big problem, but you're struggling with symptoms and conditions. You don't think you need to do anything about it. But here's how it works. Toxic heavy metals burrow themselves deep within organs, deep inside the brain, deep inside the liver. They sit in there and they're not available to be drawn out of the blood. They're not easily available to be taken out of the blood for an analysis, for a viewing. They hide and they stay dormant, and that's what metals do. They can stay in your bones and never show up in the bloodstream when someone's getting tested on any level. Biggest reason behind autoimmune and chronic health conditions like neurological symptoms is toxic heavy metals and viruses and pathogens. Toxic heavy metals and viruses and pathogens. It's the biggest combination. Viruses tend to like to feed off of toxic heavy metals. The more toxic heavy metals somebody has, the more neurotoxins a virus can produce, making somebody feel like they got chronic inflammation, brain inflammation. They feel like they got sandbags on their feet, their arms. They can't function, and the brain fog is out of control. And you guys know, you guys have dealt with brain fog. You've dealt with all kinds of different issues, different symptoms, different problems. Someone just said on IG, I'm literally loving this, with a laughing face. I'm loving being here, you guys, and talking to you guys. I'm trying to do a presentation for you guys here today. As you can notice, I have the props out and I have the anatomy, and I'm just trying to present the best I can. I want to cover different symptoms and conditions while we're still here. Helene says, so happy to attend this live. So happy you're here. You're over there on YouTube. Amazing. And then someone just said, F-U-C, I won't say the last letter. Okay, let's get back to it. On IG, how can you detox from heavy metals? Good question. Heavy metals don't just leave. Heavy metals don't just get up and leave. Hey, I'm going to get up now. I'm a toxic heavy metal, and I'm going to get up, and I'm going to walk on out of that person's body. Maybe that person can will me out with their mind. Maybe that person, hey, that person's willing me out. I'm going to be a toxic heavy metal and leave the person's body, and that person's going to manifest me right out of the body. Just like that. And hey, if I try all these different things, maybe that'll help too. Maybe some zeolite will help. Maybe something else will help. Maybe something. But it's not. It's not. Metals don't go, and they don't go with a lot of the trendy crap that's out there. They don't remove metals. It's not how it works. In order to truly get metals out of the body, you need 5 ingredients that I've talked about. Check out the Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie. Check it out when you get the chance. If you look here at Brain Saver Protocols, Heavy Metal Detox Cleanses in here. Advanced Heavy Metal Detox Cleanses. There's a Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie in here too. So you'll see the ways to get metals out. And guess what? This Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie and Cleanse is the most known and popular in the world of health for getting metals out, because it works so much so that so many people have ripped off the ideas, right? They'll take 1 ingredient, 2 ingredients from the Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie, and then they'll add something they want to sell or something to it. But this is by far, hands down, the way to get metals out. I've said it so many times over the years, and so many people got their lives back after they got rid of their metals. Ian Lamson said, what about emotionally charged shakes? Okay, that's really a good point. Okay, let's hit it. If your nerves are inflamed, like your vagus nerves and your phrenic nerves, and they're inflamed, and adrenaline surge occurs, them nerves are going to light up. Did you hear that bleep? Them nerves are going to light the freak up. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do. That's emotionally charged shakes. Emotionally charged nervous system conditions. When you get jacked up because you're getting emotionally triggered. You're getting triggered by something happening, something that's out of your control. Someone said some stuff about you. Maybe it's family, maybe it's friends, maybe it's coworkers, whatever it is. Maybe someone's just talking crap and talking smack, and you had enough, and you're just finally pissed, and it hits you, and you're just charged up, and now you're just shaking. You feel it internally. You feel it in your hands and your knees. You just feel it, and you're getting those emotionally charged shakes. You have to have sensitive nerves for the most part for those emotionally charged shakes. sensitive nerves. But you could be somebody pretty solid, pretty tough, and still get them. But if you're somebody who's really sensitive, you've been through a lot, you've been chronically sick, you have neurological symptoms already, you're dealing with a lot, and then you get a jab at you, then you get a trigger at you, oh man, you can be going through tics and spasms, you could be spasming everywhere, you can be shaking, you can be sick, your stomach can be flipping, you can be really, really feeling it when you get an emotional jab, an emotional hit. You can really feel it, and it could be really hard. Really hard. And I've seen people go through that. It's really difficult for a lot of people. You can be somebody that's more solid, meaning you're not that sick, you're not that chronically sick, you haven't had enough problems with that, you haven't had that much go on, and then someone gives you a jab, someone triggers you, and you got the emotional shakes. You got the emotional shakes. It's not tanking you, it's not taking you down to the ground. Depends on what the news is, depends on what it is that's triggering you. What I'm trying to say is if you're sensitive and you're hypersensitive and your vagus nerves are inflamed and your phrenic nerves are inflamed and you're going through a lot, you're going to feel it. You're going to get jacked up from it. Your nerves are going to move a little bit more. They're going to shake a little bit more. They're going to spasm a little bit more, and you're going to struggle. Reason why? Because the adrenaline is going to flood your system and it's going to touch those inflamed nerves, and those inflamed nerves are going to go on fire and they're going to light up. They're going to just light right up. Because that adrenaline's just going to go, poof. Someone pisses you off, poof. Adrenaline's just do that. Like, poof, out of the adrenal. Adrenaline just, poof. And then you got this blend of adrenaline that I talk about in the medical medium books. It comes out and it's like, it could be a fear-based adrenaline. It could be an anger-based adrenaline. It could be a sad-based adrenaline. And as it's coming out, it's corrosive. And that corrosive adrenaline lands on the nerves. And if your nerves are sensitive, you're going to be feeling it. And damn, that trigger is going to feel like it's taking you down and taking you out. Cold white spring. Nobody knew anything about metals before the first medical medium book. I have to agree. In fact, I was talking to a practitioner the other day, a well-known practitioner who's been around, who saw everything before the first medical medium book came out. And that well-known practitioner told me, ain't nobody knew anything about metals, AW. That's what they said. Nobody knew anything about metals before the first medical medium book came out in 2015. I concur greatly. I agree. And I will even say in British English, indeed. Anyway. Okay. Indeed. Indeed. Yes. Us royals, we talk in really good English. English language, the proper kind. Indeed. Okay. I just want to say this. Nerves can heal. Your central nervous system can heal. Your vagus nerves can heal. Your phrenic nerves can heal. Your trigeminal nerves can heal. Your nerves can heal. They just need the things they need. And they need time. They need some patience. But I understand. Because when you've been sick for a long time, and you've been down and out for a long time, patience just grows weary and grows weary. And patience thins, and it thins, and it thins. And I understand. I totally get that. I do. So even when you've been given an answer and you got a direction, if your patience has thinned out and you've struggled long enough, it's hard to just say, you know what, I'm going to do this. You know what, I'm going to commit and I'm going to make this happen. But I'm promising this, that your nerves want to heal every single one of your cranial nerves. It causes all the different symptoms, conditions, and problems. Wants to heal. So many people have hearing conditions. They're dealing with like cochlear nerves. So many people are dealing with so many different nerve problems. Hypoglossal nerves with taste and tongue problems and mouth problems. They're dealing with facial nerves, facial tics and spasms, trigeminal nerves, optic nerves too. So many people have optic neuritis, and they're dealing with inflamed, swollen optic nerves deep inside their head, and they're suffering from double vision and all kinds of other issues that are not explained and they got lesions on their optic nerves from all kinds of neurotoxins from viruses. Emily Harridan says, could you please talk about working out while trying to heal your nerves? I feel well enough to work out and miss cardio and strength, but need to heal post plaque tight chest and chem. Okay, so first of all, walking, if you can walk, is critical. Anybody walking is miraculous. It is powerful. Don't underestimate it on any level. If you're somebody that wasn't sick at one time in your life and you're a runner, you're an avid exerciser, you do weights, whatever you do, you might think that walking is chump change, but it's not. Walking is one of the most powerful ways to exercise while you're healing with chronic illness and you're dealing with sensitivities and chronic issues and neurological problems, chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. Walking is a big one. That alone is incredible. Swimming is another one too. I know that a lot of pools are chemmed out big time. They're chemmed out. They got a lot of fungicides in there for fungus. Like, they got a lot of different chlorine, high chlorine levels, so it's tricky. But any kind of swimming in any kind of situation that's cleaner than that, without the high chem, is also really powerful too. Walking, swimming. These are two options right there that I always tell people they should be doing. And depending on each person, you might be somebody that's able to start doing some resistance training. You might be somebody that's doing just baby steps with resistance. Rebounding, another great one. It's another thing too. Cold White Spring, no one was talking about rebounding back in 2015 and before. Very few. It was one of those niches that was tucked away, and it wasn't for chronically ill, it wasn't for the chronically ill, it wasn't for anybody. It was just one of those things, the mini trampoline, they called it. And I talked about it in the Medical Medium book, 2015. I talked about rebounding. That's another one for the chronically ill. It's a great one. It could be rebounding for 1 minute a day. You're counting it. You're watching the minute, and you're rebounding for 1 minute a day. Now, you got to understand something. If you're somebody that you're not sick, you're not struggling, you might think this is a joke when I say 1 minute a day and rebounding, but when you're struggling, you just got off of Mattress Island, walking to the bathroom is an exercise. Keeping a pedometer on you is actually not a bad idea if you're somebody coming back from chronic illness. Just seeing how many steps you take in the house as you're recovering. You're like, okay, you know what? I took 500 steps today. Sounds like a joke? It's not a joke. For somebody with chronic illness, you could barely take a shower. 500 steps is a miracle. So I'm saying I'm taking us down to that area and moving us up. Maybe there's somebody that just deals with a little fatigue and you're fighting for it. And you want to do your run and you want to do your cardio. And you want to do your weights. Incredible. If you can do that, incredible. Rehab takes time. Coming back from a chronic illness, it takes time and patience. So rehabbing from that takes time. Any steps you take, any walking you do, standing upright. So I want to say this, for people who are really sick and chronically ill, they've been on Mattress Island, medical medium term, Mattress Island. Now I hear people saying it out there. Mattress Island, it's okay if walking around your house and in your kitchen and standing upright is your exercise, because you're laying flat so much. So many people, they're sick for long term, they lay flat all the time. Or they lay flat, they lay sitting up, right? They lay sitting up in their bed like this. So standing, that alone is an exercise for somebody who's been bedridden, somebody that's been on Mattress Island. Standing, walking in their house, keeping a pedometer, counting the steps, all that matters. Nothing is small time. 50 steps for somebody could be big time. 500 steps could be big time. Keep that in mind. Now let's go a little bit more. Say somebody, they just have some aches and pains here and there. They're trying to control it with whatever they're doing out there, right? They can run. They can do some resistance training. They can do some workouts. They can get a trainer, whatever it is, fine. That's great. If you're somebody coming back and rehabbing, some rebounding, swimming if it's possible, if you have the resources and the option, riding a bicycle, stationary bicycle, walking on a treadmill, walking outside, all of that can count. All of that is helpful. And that's the start. It's hard to go just from being in Mattress Island straight to an advanced yoga class. It's hard to be on Mattress Island and move to an advanced, boom, a 10-mile run. Really, really hard. Got to have patience, and you got to take one day at a time, and you got to baby step it for your recovery. Steph says, you say don't let your feet leave the trampoline when rebounding. Why? You have much more gravity occur when it doesn't leave. You're utilizing and manipulating gravity when you keep your feet still on the rebounder. You would think it's the opposite. You jump off the rebounder, you're going to have more gravity as you're coming down. Not true. Because you have lost control. The minute you jump on the rebounder, and this is SOC information, okay, giving it to you right here. The minute you purposely try to leave your rebounder, you're not in control anymore. You're not in control anymore. You can do it if you want. That means you can't manipulate gravity with your own body's force. You're getting less of a workout when you leave the trampoline. When you leave the rebounder and you leave the mini trampoline and you're going up and you're doing the jump up, you want to go up high off there, you just lost control and you're not now, you can't manipulate gravity anymore with your own force. With your own body's force. You've lost control. You get less action happening within the body, less results, less blood flow, less lymphatic drainage, less everything. So if you're somebody and you're leaving your rebounder and you're going up, down like this, your lymphatic system isn't going to be benefited as much, hardly. But when you keep your feet on that rebounder and you're going down and you're still stay on that rebounder just about, and you're not really going off of it, you're now controlling and manipulating gravity itself. You're using your body's force to do it. You're focused. You're concentrating. Your brain is actually wired to what you're doing. You want to jump up off that trampoline and be off the ground. Your brain all of a sudden stops working. It stops navigating. You're not able to manipulate gravity anymore. You're not using more interskeletal muscles, and you're not draining your lymphatic system the way you should. You're not getting anything. You're not getting more play. So that's why it's important to keep your feet on top of the mini trampoline, on top of the rebounder. Important tip. You're welcome. Game-changing info, saying Sue says. I'm honored you think so. Thank you for being here. Anyway, you guys, this concludes today's live. I just want to let you know I'm on TikTok. Check it out. Follow me on TikTok when you get a chance. I've been verified on TikTok, even though I was verified on TikTok years ago and had an account that almost had 1 million people on there. And now, after poof, it disappeared on me many, many months ago. We are back on TikTok. We're verified once again, and we're on there. So check me out when you get a chance, because I want to eventually do some exclusive stuff on there. Telegram, I do exclusive audio messages. Have you been checking out the Pride and Prejudice messages on Telegram? Check out Telegram. I beg of you to check out my Telegram page, Telegram account, right? And sign up to the Medical Meme newsletter. By the way, I'm talking about how Pride and Prejudice, the 1995 version, is extremely healing on the nervous system, especially if you're somebody who struggled with chronic illness on any level. But I go into more details and how angels are present during the filming of the Pride and Prejudice 1995 version. I go into detail on Telegram. Please listen to the last few Telegram messages that I left, the audio messages. Go search for them and find them and get caught up on Pride and Prejudice and what I was talking about with that. Judith says over there on YouTube, Tighten of the chest would happen at night in bed. Thanks to you, that is gone. Just a messenger of the information, turning people's lives around in this world, and I'm happy to do so. Kelsey Bach says, hey Kelsey, AW, I absolutely love watching the healing tool you told us about. The angels are so amazing. Yeah, the Pride and Prejudice is a healing tool. But not just the book of Pride and Prejudice, book by Jane Austen, not just the different versions that have come out in film. No. It's the filming. It's what happened paranormally, what happened godly, supernaturally, what happened during the 1995 Pride and Prejudice. All right. You guys, incredible. Julie Tuesday 144 says, I was able to get off Xanax by doing the brain meditation. That brain meditation, I still listen to that. The morning cleanse, Vimergy, melatonin, magnesium, and B12. So I was able to get off Xanax by doing the brain meditation, the morning cleanse, Vimergy, melatonin, magnesium, and Vimergy B12. Forever grateful. Incredible. Just incredible. Okay, so Jenny says, I was prescribed gabapentin 5 years ago for CRPS. Could not move my knee. No solution from traditional or alternative medicine. It's hard. Was told I am stressed because it was my thoughts. I've been 4 years on medical medium. I am healed. I'm actually getting choked up on that comment that you left, Jenny, because people just don't understand unless they've been through it. Wondering Wishin says, my 9-year-old son has vocal and physical tics. School really sets him back, but the heavy metal detox smoothie and B12 helps so much, especially when we do it every day. Amazing. Gold White says, the new people coming in now, they have no idea what existed back before 2015. They have no idea what a desert it was. And they also don't have any idea that if they get sick enough, the answers still aren't out there. Yeah. You guys, it's been amazing. It's been an honor. I want to do more of these. I want to cover symptoms, conditions. I want to bring our registered dietitian out. If you guys are okay, I mean, she's pretty cool and she's pretty hip, and she was at the top of her sorority, and everybody loved her at the university. I think forgot what the sorority she was in, but she's a registered dietitian now, and boom, she'll be here once in a while. India says, books recommended for lupus. That's a book right there for lupus. Medical Medium, book 1, new edition. New edition. Very important. Very important. Now, I realize that our registered dietitian that's going to be coming on regularly hasn't put out 8 Bibles that have turned people's lives around in the world all these years, this last decade. But regardless, she's got good information about protein. Anyway, you guys, I'm honored. And Crispy Perspective says, yes, bring her back. We certainly will. Be careful what you ask for and wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Can I juggle these eggs before we go? Book for arthritis, osteoporosis. Honestly, I would still do Medical Medium New Edition. I would do Cleanse to Heal. Pick one or the other. Cleanse to Heal. These books are so light. They're only pamphlets. Meanwhile, no, they're heavy poundage. They're Bibles packed with information to get your life back. They are not pamphlets, and they're not bullshit books talking about eating better. Get familiar with these books. Book for alopecia, go to Cleanse to Heal. So that. Had the shakes lately? All right, guys. You guys know I love you. And please take care of yourselves. Take one day at a time. Do not beat yourselves up if you got a symptom or a condition that's nagging. Keep focused. Try not to get distracted. Love you guys.